Hello, lovely people, and welcome back to your professional diploma in digital marketing. We are on lesson 5, and it's one of my favorites as it's all about free marketing. Did you know that the average organic reach for a Facebook post is 6.4% of a page's likes? Google My Business pages with photos see 35% more clicks to their website and 42% higher requests for directions versus a page that doesn't have a photo. 2 million posts are on LinkedIn every day. Yep, I am still your educator. This is still Laura, and I still need coffee to function. How have your interactions been with Morpheus? Please do continue to rate the responses as this helps us improve him. But if you've had anything strange, please send me a mail on marketing@shoreacademy.com and we'll deal with it as soon as possible. Our app has recently been updated. If you're watching on the app, let me know what you think. If you haven't downloaded it, please visit your app store and give it a go. A quick reminder of what we covered in lesson 4. We looked at the impact of mobile and mobile marketing, mobile site speed and Google's free tool called Page Speed Insights, mobile-friendly site recommendations, and finally, mobile apps and their benefits. You have completed the first 4 lessons, which means you are now more than halfway through the first module. The remaining lessons are also packed with info, but I do hope that you will be joining me for the remaining 3 modules. I have a challenge for you at the end of this lesson, so please keep an eye out for it. Today, we are looking at free marketing, as I mentioned, but specifically how to create Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn pages, how SEO works, and an intro to the Google Search Console, what Google My Business is and how it benefits you, and then other free marketing options and tools. So you can see it's a jam-packed lesson. First up, we're going to be looking at creating a Facebook page. It is super easy and of course free. In terms of paid marketing on Facebook, we are looking at that in lesson 7. So once you've logged into your profile, you see at the top, you can use your personal profile or create another profile, which would have to be with a different email address for business use. And then what you'll see is the create button on the top right. You would choose page from the drop down, which would direct you to this. And then you would choose the option that is relevant to you. So either business and brand or community and public figure. You'll then be asked to give your page a name. And this is the name that will appear on your page, and choose a category. Once you start typing, categories will appear. Literally after selecting continue, you have your own Facebook page. The page will look blank as you still need to add all your info, but I'll take you through some of the features. The best way to learn is to try it yourself, in my opinion. Create a test page. In the settings, you can actually leave it as unpublished so that it isn't visible or searchable by anyone else. And then, as I think I've said before, play around. See what you can do. Something else I love to say is try and break it. Once on your new page, you'll see @username under your page name. Your username is what will be added to your custom Facebook page URL. So it would be something like, it would be facebook.com/your username. I recommend that it's closely related to your page name, but it doesn't have to be exactly the same. Short and sweet is best. Your new page will look a little something like this. This is a dummy page I have created. I added a profile and cover photo, and at the top you can see the range of admin tools that you have. So there's page, inbox, notifications, insights, publishing tools, ad center, and then more options. You can add a button to your page which appears on the right side under your cover photo. In the example I had before, it was send email. There are 5 categories to choose from. And in this image, I'm showing you the various contact you options, as this is the category that has the most variety. The page button is essentially a call to action. So think carefully about the action you would like people to take when on your page. Once you've clicked on settings, you'll see all the options available on the left side in terms of this image. It's on the left side of the image I just brought up. Here is where you can connect your Instagram account to Facebook, and you can also choose whether your updates on either platform are then also posted to the other platform. So if you post something on Instagram, it will also post on Facebook automatically, and vice versa. If you go to the published posts section, you can view all your posts as well as create a new one, or new ones. You can schedule your post for a future date, which is super handy if you don't want to be posting every day. You could, for example, create a week's worth or more and then schedule them all in one day. Not to be posted in one day, but you can, as you can set a future date, you would just schedule them for the next week. You can also backdate your post or save it as a draft if you aren't quite finished with it. Here is where you can also create a lead gen form. You don't need to have paid advertising to create a lead form, which you can share organically. As you include info, the preview on the right will populate it. If you look at the form type, you'll see that there are 2 options. So there's more volume or higher intent. I would recommend the higher intent, which means that it requires an extra step before someone can submit a form. It's literally a message that says, are you sure you want to send this form? Or something else. I think you can actually customize that, and it just gives the person who's submitting the lead just a bit of a second to pause and question whether they want to send their information. You are risking losing volume, but I would argue that the quality will be higher with the higher intent option. Also remember that you do need to link to a privacy policy, so make sure that you have one on your site. If you select the Insights tab, this is where you will see metrics on your posts and followers. It's a rabbit hole that can suck you in for hours. So go in with a clear goal and find the data you need. Don't get distracted by all the other fun stuff. The overview section gives a high-level breakdown of various metrics. For example, you can see the actions on your page, the number of page views, post engagements. So very handy stuff. And then what you would do is you would click on one of those sections to get more information on them. So here I've just clicked on the actions on page section, and you can see a breakdown from directions to clicking action buttons. So the total actions on page between a certain date range, and then people who click the action button, you can also then see age and gender, country, city, device. There's a lot of information here. Looking at the Post Insights tab, you can see when your fans are online as well as other useful insights. But as an example, looking at the times when your followers are online, you could actually use this to test when you should schedule your posts. An example of this could be when the time peaks, do your posts garner higher reach or more engagement? If they don't, then that's something else to look at and test. Below what I've just shown you, you can see the reach and engagements on your posts. So a good thing to do here is to divide your engagement by your reach to determine your engagement rate. And then what you can do is analyze your posts to see if you can improve that. For example, was it a case of missing a call to action? Maybe the image was not so relevant to the copy, and more, tons more. Moving on to Instagram, there are 2 ways to switch your account to a professional one. Once you're logged into your profile, you need to select Account, and at the bottom you will see Switch to Professional Account. Okay, I actually need to stop here for a sec. Please don't get mad at me if what you see when setting this up is different to what I'm showing you. These social media channels update little things constantly, and while I do update the lessons, I might miss something. If something has drastically changed, though, please email me. Again, the email address is marketing@shoreacademy.com. Okay, so back to Instagram. You can also switch to a professional account if you go to Edit Profile. If you don't have an Instagram account or you want to have another account for business purposes, create a profile or another profile with a different email address. If you're also setting up Facebook, I'd recommend using the same email. Once you've chosen to switch accounts, you'll need to decide whether business or creator fits you best. I've chosen creator here just to show you the options, but with either creator or business, you need to choose a category. This image, the last one, is under the business category, so this is where you would include your email, contact, and business address. And there we go. You now have a professional Instagram account, with the main difference being that you can receive more insights on your posts and, of course, include all your contact info. Finally, in terms of page creation in this lesson, we have LinkedIn. It's an exceptional B2B platform, and unlike Facebook, it isn't suitable for all businesses. So give it a lot of thought if you're thinking about creating an account on this platform. So it starts off the same as the previous channels. You log into your profile or create a new business one. On the top right of the page, you'll see something called Work. You need to select that, and you will see these options here on the left. At the bottom, you can see a Create a Company page. You'll need to select that, and that will lead you to this page. There are various options from small to large businesses, as you can see at the top, and educational institutions. Obviously, select the option that best suits your business. I've chosen small business, and here you would start off with your company name. Then you have the public URL, which works the same as Facebook. So you choose something that is relevant to your business. You then include your website and company details from the drop downs. And as you fill in this info, the preview on the right will populate. LinkedIn really is all about quality, informative content. Not that other channels aren't, and it's also not just all content. You won't find someone posting a gag video or some weird trend on LinkedIn. This content suggestion tool within LinkedIn tells you what content your followers are engaging with. So of course you first need to have followers, but posting content, commenting on relevant posts, and encouraging people to follow your profile on other channels will lead you to create followers on LinkedIn. Whew, big topic. Search engine optimization, or SEO. Like digital marketing, it changes all the time. Google releases new updates very often, sometimes with little impact and sometimes with huge impact. If you're in a competitive space and you want to grow fast, or if branding is your goal, then hiring a quality SEO professional or company is going to be one of your most important investments. Before approaching this, it's always a good idea to do your research. Which keywords do you want to rank for, and are they realistic? You also need to understand that where you appear on the search results page could change every day. There is no guarantee. And please don't become one of those people who searches your own brand and then demands to know why it didn't appear on the first page. Your search history affects your results. So if you've been searching your brand quite often, for example, and you haven't actually clicked on any of the searches, then Google might deem that result as irrelevant, and so they will no longer show it to you. Also, if you offer local services or you're a brick and mortar store, your local results will be different to other results. We're going to jump into it now. It is a big topic. Let me know if anything is confusing. Please post into Morpheus if you're already a bit confused, and I'll do my best to help you out. So first we have on-page SEO, and on-page SEO is the practice of optimizing individual web pages in order to rank higher and earn more relevant traffic in search engines. So not only Google, but Google is one of the biggest. On-page refers to both the content and the HTML, you know that one, source code of a page that can be optimized. The on-page ranking factors are content, title tags, meta tags, URLs, and alt text. And I'm going to be going through all of these in a bit more detail now. First up, we have content. Content needs to be relevant and clear. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. It also needs to be unique and regular. If you have duplicate content on your site or from another site, you will be penalized. Updating your site regularly signals to Google that you have a quality website. It needs to be content that supplies a demand. If you remember when we were looking at target markets and the elements of a target market statement, you basically need to ask yourself, in this case, what is the problem that your content is solving? Does your supply meet the demand? And then it needs to be linkable. You want other publishers to link to your content. This is even more of a signal to Google and other search engines that your site is relevant. Your content needs to include some strategic keywords. On-page keyword optimization all boils down to researching, choosing and including keywords that you can easily rank for. You don't want to compete with top brands with higher or stronger authority. Long tail keywords, for example, something like local red summer dresses, are better than short ones like dresses. You will never rank highly for that second keyword unless you're a retail giant. Then we have title tags, and a title tag is an HTML element specifying the title of a page. They are the clickable headlines that you see in organic search engine results page is. That's what that stands for. They are recommended to be between 50 to 60 characters in length so that the search engine, let's just say Google, doesn't cut it off. If your title tags are duplicated anywhere, this will affect your ranking as well. Keyword stuffing, I've mentioned this before. That is just really packing a small amount of content with a ton of keywords, and it literally just looks like one big fake ad. It used to work, or at least used to assist SEO, but it no longer does, and it's actually frowned upon. Regardless of SEO, you should be paying attention to the titles of your pages, as overall, people will click on them more if they're clear and relevant. You need to pay attention to the keywords, but don't overdo it. And I also recommend avoiding the default titles like home or product page. They are proven to reduce click-through rates, so something more informative, relevant would do better. Include your brand if it has a strong presence. And finally, think about your customers when you're writing them. Don't think about yourself and what you want it to say. Think about the user experience overall. Looking at meta tags give an explanation of what is on the page. Search engines like Google often display the meta description in the search results. It should be only up to 160 characters long. Again, if it's longer, then Google and other search engines will cut it off. Use some of the keywords you want to rank for in the meta tag, but again, don't overdo it, as it will give you the opposite of your desired result. Try and see it as writing an ad. Google doesn't take meta tags or their keywords into account when ranking, but as these have an effect on your CTRs, by default it impacts your rankings. URLs, so these show the hierarchy of the information on the page. A good example of a URL is on the left here, and a bad example is on the right. So the first one shows the hierarchy of the information on the page. It's history as it pertains to digital marketing in the context of marketing. This information is used to determine the relevancy of a given web page by the search engines. Due to the hierarchy, the engines can assume that the page likely doesn't pertain to history in general, but rather to that of the history of digital marketing. On the other hand, the URL on the right tells the user nothing, and due to this, the search engines won't necessarily see it as a relevant search result. Alt text describes the appearance of the images on your site. If someone is visually impaired, this would be read out to them. It will also be displayed in place of an image if it failed to load for whatever reason. They also provide better image context to search engine crawlers, helping them to index it properly. We're going to go more into that in a minute. A bad example of an alt tag, this beautiful lady here, would be to describe it as a dress. A good example would be beautiful woman wearing a red dress. I don't know why I keep talking about dresses. I will try and mix it up a bit. Sorry, guys. After on-page SEO, we have off-page SEO. This is far more difficult to get right than on-page SEO, and I think is part of why SEO seems so mysterious. We aren't going to go into this in as much detail as on-page, just because it's quite advanced, but I'll take you through a few things. So off-page SEO refers to all the activities that you and your consumers do away from your website to increase the ranking of a page within search engines. The off-page ranking factors are links, and this is referring to links to your site, not on your site. So things like referrals, social media links, other publishers linking to you, brand mentions also without links can be a factor. Trust, this is to do with your reputation and if you have a security certificate. So that's the difference between HTTP and HTTPS. Social is a big off-page ranking factor, including things like links, shares, reviews, and other engagements. And then the history of your site and of your brand and your reputation, that is also a factor. And I actually think this is why SEO can be so hard to get right. And I think this is why SEO can be so hard to get right, because the influencing factors are not technically all within your control. So if you keep your brand clean, you respond to criticism, and you provide quality content, then your chances are much higher for rankings. If you don't have any of that, then you have a pretty hard road ahead of you. But here I am referring to an already established brand, not a new one. An integral part of keeping tabs on your SEO efforts is the Google Search Console. The Google Search Console is where you can optimize content by finding out which queries bring users to the site. You can analyze site impressions, clicks, and your position on Google. And also, it can be integrated with Google Ads, which allows you to see performance of paid versus organic traffic. To link it to your site, you need to log in to Google Search Console with your Google account details. You'll then be asked to select a property type, either a domain or a URL. You then need to enter that URL and continue. You'll be asked to verify the domain ownership. If anyone could claim a site, there'd be havoc, right? You would add a piece of code in your DNS configuration. You would find this within whatever CMS you're using to manage your site. I went through a few of these in the beginning, but here's a recap and some more features. Optimize content. So this is what I was talking about earlier, being able to see the queries that bring people to your site. You would then make sure that you include those keywords in future copy. Organic metrics, straightforward. You can view and analyze these. Likewise, position on search engine results pages, straightforward. You can see those within the search console. And just note that it's not like Google Ads where there are only 8 positions. There's hundreds. It's essentially the whole internet where you are in that grand scheme of things. You can integrate Google Search Console and Google Ads, as I mentioned, to see performance of organic versus paid traffic. I might be covering this a little in the next lesson. I'll see how I feel. Joking. You can submit sitemaps and individual URLs for crawling, and you can review your index coverage to make sure Google has the freshest view of your site. Now, I'll be translating those sentences in a minute. You can also receive alerts on issues, so Google will notify you with specific URLs affected as well as other errors. You can monitor, test, and track AMP pages, which we covered in the previous lesson, lesson 4. You can also test and improve your mobile usability. It combines info from the Page Speed Insights tool as well as the Search Console. So what are Google bots and what do they do? A bot is really a program that can interact with different systems. So the Google bots crawl and index the internet, of which your site is a part. Looking at crawling is when the bot looks at all the content and code on all your pages and they analyze it. Indexing is seeing if the page is eligible to show up in search results. It is estimated that Google bots take 3 months to index a new site, according to boostability.com. If your site is older and is not experiencing crawling, your design could be an issue. When bots can't access your site, it decreases your ranking. How do they know where to look on your site then? It's something called a sitemap, which is essentially a list of the pages on your site in order of importance. A sitemap tells Google bots which pages to index. They tell Google how often you update your content, so it is recommended to submit your sitemap each time you publish changes. This could actually lead to Google indexing your site faster. I can never give you an exact estimation for when or how often Google will index your site. It completely differs across a whole range of sites. Clearly or obviously the bigger, more established, lots of history sites, they would be indexed more often, but there are ways that you can boost your index rate, and we'll be going through that just now. You can check if your site has been indexed by typing in site, your website name, .com or .org or whatever it is. Don't include the quotation marks. Just type exactly that into your browser. What you'll then see is a list of pages that have been indexed as well as any tags associated with them. If nothing appears, then your site has not yet been indexed. A no index tag tells the bots not to include the page or pages in the search results. Unless you also include no follow, the bots can still follow links to that page from other pages. Using the disallow tag means you're telling search engines not to crawl it. It's not foolproof, and if implemented incorrectly, you can still have unwanted pages appear on the search results. But if you do a comprehensive sitemap and it's uploaded correctly, then you're on your way to winning, essentially. Do you have a sitemap for your site? I'd love to know. Please pop it into Morpheus. Something that is great for local SEO is a Google My Business page. It's a free tool that lets you manage how your business appears on Google Search and on Google Maps. That includes your business name, your location and hours, monitoring and replying to customer reviews, adding photos, learning where and how people are searching for you, and more. You'd start off with searching for Google My Business, at which point you will be directed to this page. Again, it might change, don't kill me. If you already have a listing but haven't claimed it, you would search for it at the top here. This would avoid a few of these steps, but you'd still be filling in the same info, just within what looks like a completed Google My Business profile. If you don't have a listing, you would choose Add Your Business to Google. You'd then need to add your company name and then choose whether you want to include a location. Obviously, some businesses either don't have a location, for example, maybe online retail or a drop shipping company, or they don't want to show it. So let's say an office block or an office that doesn't service customers. If you choose the option to include a location, you'll be asked to input your address, and obviously you need to make sure it is 100% correct. If you are within an already claimed area, for example in a business park, then you may not actually be able to claim your address. You would also select if you service people in other areas, and then if so, you can include those areas. And then you would select a business category. All this info is editable, so if you make a mistake, it's fine. Except for on the address, it's a little bit trickier if you have completed all the steps and then you go to verify it. If you then need to go and change that address, you'll have to redo the verification process. Finally, you would choose which details you want to show your customers, and then voila, you are done and you have a Google My Business page. After creating the page, you need to verify it. There are several ways to verify your listing, and you can do that by postcard, believe it or not, still, phone, email, instant verification, and bulk verification for if you have more than one business location. Instant verification will only work for some businesses who have already registered with the Google Search Console. So you see, combining all these Google products means good things. If you're choosing bulk verification, you would select chain after verify, and then you'd follow those instructions. Any of these options will give you a verification code. I do recommend avoiding the postcard. It takes a long time or it never comes. Well, at least that was a few years ago when I did it via postcard. Maybe now it's better, but I doubt it. Part of Google My Business is Maps. What you list on your profile shows on Google Maps as well. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but when someone is searching for something on Maps, a list of relevant businesses appear on the left, as you can see. I've used New York restaurants as an example. Ha! Different to dresses. Yay! If you zoom in or move the map to a different area, the results will change. So let me just show you. So this is the full zoomed out view. But if you scroll, then you see it zoomed in and you can see that the businesses changed on the left. Let me just do that again and show you. So here, restaurants in New York, we have Electric Lemon, Mastro Steakhouse. Can't pronounce that, it sounds very French. Sorry, I just really suck at French. And then if you scroll in, you can see the results have changed. So we've got Patrick's, Nortis or Hortus NYC. Then we have Madison. The top two results are ads, but again, you can see they change as you have your listing, as you zoom in with your map. And the same applies to organic results. Some very important points to remember when it comes to your Google My Business page. Your Profile photo is what appears when you upload new photos, videos, or review responses. So important to make sure that's a good, high quality, relevant, very easily identifiable photo. The Google My Business cover photo is one of the most important as it shows up front and center on your listing. You can also add videos. There are a few constraints. Videos need to be 30 seconds or shorter, a max of 100 megs, and the resolution of 720 pixels or higher. I definitely recommend having a video, as this is generally how people like to consume content. Reviews are viewable on your listing, and I'd recommend that you encourage your customers to leave you a review on Google, as they can be very powerful and it's free. Facebook and other platform reviews do sometimes appear. TripAdvisor, for example, Zomato, and others. It is super, super important to respond to the good reviews as well as the bad ones. People will be more frustrated by the negative review if the brand hasn't responded. Responding shows that you care and that you want to improve your service. Suggest and edit. As you can see, I've highlighted it on the listing. People can actually do this with certain businesses, and sometimes they're approved without you knowing. So it's important to log into your business profile and make sure that no one's done anything funny to your listing. Let's take a look at some other free marketing options, not in huge detail because we're running out of time, but we can start off with influencer marketing. Influencer. I never know how to pronounce that word. Anyway, it is a tactic that brings together businesses and influencers who have a loyal following, who can then promote your product or your service or your content to their audience. Not all influencers want cash in exchange for a review or a promotion. Some are very happy to do it in exchange for like a free license or a discount on your product or service. And by influencers, I don't mean the highest of celebs out there. In fact, according to a 2017 study, so a while ago, but it's still relevant, so-called smaller influencers drive 60% higher engagement. People with more than 1,000 followers are generally seen as less relatable, so engagement drops. Guest posting can further your reach and generate more leads by allowing you to tap into other companies' audiences. In addition, you'll build backlinks, which is off-page SEO, to your website, which search engines will use to rank you higher in search results. So it's a great, great option. If you're using a free service and you have a database of email addresses, you can upload your list, segment it in a way that suits your business, and craft relevant or personalized content. So-called cold emailing, so you haven't really had a lot of or any kind of contact with them before. It is sometimes seen as a bit dodgy, but honestly that's because people haven't done it properly. It can generate some great leads. To start building up your database or database, you can reach out to your networks on social media, like LinkedIn, and reach out to any leads that you have maybe previously lost. Things can change, so they might be interested now, for example. There are also some great free tools, and I'm going to take you through some of my favorites. First up, we have Hootsuite, which is a social media management tool. They do offer a free plan, and that includes 3 social profiles. So let's say Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Maximum of 30 scheduled posts and 1 user. So only one person can be using it, clearly. But it is great for someone starting out. It allows you to see all your profiles in one place. You can also get a 30-day free trial of their first 2 paid plans. So check it out, hootsuite.com. Canva is a design tool, and it does offer a free option, though there is a pro option as well. You can design almost anything, presentations, social media posts, posters, flyers, etc. You can either use the templates or images that Canva offers, or you can upload your own images and edit them. MailChimp used to be known as an email marketing platform, but it has since evolved. You can create and publish emails, organic social posts, paid social, remarketing ads, forms, landing pages, and more. The free option allows you 7 channels, automations, so one-click automations, which are very easy to set up. You set it up and you don't have to think about it anymore. Basic templates, and a CRM to house up to 2,000 contacts, which is quite a bit when you're just starting out. The more advanced options offer in-depth reporting and A/B testing, just to name a few. Then we have Zapier, which is a bit of a tricky one to explain, but it is a connection or an integration between 2 or more apps that automates your task. And what these are called is zaps. A zap is made of a trigger and an action. Their free option offers 5 zaps that have 2 steps to them, and then it creates automated email triggers. Let's use that as an example. So someone, let's say, who is running Facebook lead gen ads but doesn't have a CRM to send them to, he would normally have to download a CSV daily within Facebook's Business Manager. But if he sets up a zap for every time a lead is submitted, then the information can get added to a Google Sheet that he specifies. And that's really just an example. You can have it go to an email, you can have an SMS be sent, lots of different connections. The free plan is a little bit limited, but with something like the lead gen example I gave, that could be something really handy to you if you're just starting out. On that note, if you are just starting out, please pop it into Morpheus if, in terms of the tools that I've gone through, if you would find any of them or you're considering using any of them. I'd love to know. Then we have SurveyMonkey, which is something that creates surveys, polls, and quizzes. With the free option, you have unlimited surveys, which is pretty awesome. 10 questions per survey, which might sound like too few, but that's actually quite a lot. Something you can get some really interesting insights from that. And you could even use it for persona building. For example, when you're doing your research, you could send out a survey and then aggregate those answers. So earlier, I was talking to you about joining me for the remaining 3 modules of this course. I really, really do hope you're considering it. And if not, I'd love to know why. Please pop it into Morpheus or give us an email on marketing@shoreacademy.com. I'm sure you know that back to front now. But Shore Academy does offer 3, 6, and 12-month subscriptions, meaning that after you've completed this course, you can actually further your learning even more. A 3-month subscription would give you the rest of this course, and of course the longer options open up the opportunity for more skills. At the moment, we're actually offering a 50% discount on the 12-month membership, so definitely give it a thought or 3. There's some great courses available within the marketing faculty, not just this one. We have digital marketing, which is the one you're on now. Modules 2 to 4 cover in-depth campaign creation, as well as optimization and analysis. And then in module 4 specifically covers some even more advanced skills like offline conversion tracking, learning about shopping data feeds, and more. This professional diploma in social media provides an in-depth knowledge of social media with a specific focus on content and community management. Digital marketing, this course, includes social media, but from a very different angle. It's from a paid perspective and analysis and optimization. Not to say that social media doesn't cover that, but is more focused, as I mentioned, on content, community management, and the organic side of things. Our blogging and content marketing course is 8 lessons, so it's not a full professional diploma, but it serves as a really nice addition to the other courses. You can't actually really do anything well in terms of digital marketing without a good knowledge of content marketing, so consider it. Marketing is not the only faculty within Shaw Academy. We have a wide range of courses covering finance, lifestyle, business, tech, photography, and health and wellness. They range from professional diplomas to add-ons like the blogging course that I just spoke about. If euro isn't your currency, check out our site for the equivalent amount. The 3-month membership would let you complete this course. The 6-month option would get you halfway through another professional diploma after this one, which doesn't quite make sense. So I would recommend the 12-month option, which, as I mentioned, is currently discounted. And it does actually overall offer a cheaper monthly rate than any other option and would allow you to complete 3 additional professional diplomas. If you would like to upgrade, you can do so via your profile, or send us an email or SMS, or just type info into Morpheus. If you want to upgrade, type info into Morpheus now, please. Upon completion of the digital marketing course, you could actually get an entry-level job in marketing if you're just starting out. If you're already in marketing, this course will upskill and update you, as you just know how often this field changes. And if you're a business owner, you'll be equipped with the tools to make your brand succeed online. And as the course educator and course creator, I really guarantee this. I'm committed to giving quality lessons and giving you the information that you're actually wanting and asking for. So that's why I'm always on about feedback and about emailing, because I'm doing it for you guys, and I want to make sure it's the best that I can offer. Before I get into this, remember please that there is a challenge at the end of this lesson, so stay with me. Lesson 6 is going to be covering Google Ads. Personally, one of my favorite topics. We're going to first look at Google Ads campaign structure, keyword match types and volume estimations, manual and automated bid strategies, and then Google search and display ad creation. If some of this sounds a bit too advanced for you, don't worry about it at all. It's going to be very straightforward and easy. So I'm really looking forward to this lesson. What we covered today, just a quick recap. We looked at creating Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn pages. We had an introduction to SEO and the Google Search Console. You learned how to create a Google My Business page and the value of it. And then finally, we looked at other free marketing options and tools. Challenge time! I'll leave it here for a sec, but what I would like you to do, please, is to choose 3 pages from your own site or a site you like and do the following. Copy-paste the URL and provide a new one if it does not follow a good structure. Give each page a title. Write a meta tag description for one page, and remember to keep it to 160 characters, not more. And then copy an image and give it descriptive alt text. Even if it already has descriptive alt text, see if you can come up with something new. Send your work to marketing@shawacademy.com, and you can send that in any format. I really do read them and reply to some of them. Unfortunately, I can't get to all of them, but I really, really appreciate those of you who have been doing the challenges. I've learnt some very interesting things, and it's been great to see the kind of range of industries and knowledge across the class. So I really appreciate it. You've completed lesson 5. Please don't forget your quizzes. They are at the end of every lesson, and your weekly assignments. If you've used any of these free marketing options or tools, please post your answer with which tools you have used with the hashtag #SureDigitalMarketing, or you can email us on that marketing address. I'm not going to say it again because I'll probably annoy you. For technical support, please remember to email support@sureacademy.com. Send me your completed challenge while you wait for lesson 6, and I'm really looking forward to it. Bye guys.